My project is going to be on sleep impacts on developing brains. This is specifically referring to children. So, why I chose this topic growing up, specifically in high school, I had an awful sleep schedule. I was a chronic night owl. I struggled with a learning disability and ADHD and anxiety. Looking back, I can attribute to a lot of my difficulties and struggles being to extremely poor sleep. So, what is sleep and why do we need it? Sleep is something everyone does to rest their brain. Sleep is light activity with a reduction in our body's sensory awareness. The body is usually still and quiet. Sleep involves many parts of the brain and the secretion of hormones. Sleep is not clearly understood, but we do know that it is important. Our circadian rhythm, which is the biological clock. The circadian rhythm is the body's 24-hour clock that keeps us in an operating schedule for healthy sleep and other biological processes. This includes hormone regulation, digestion function, and the regulation of body temperatures. Children don't have a circadian rhythm until they're around the age of being a toddler. Teens' bedtimes are usually later, causing their circadian rhythm to shift. Metabolic levels may not increase till later in the day. The problem is early school start times are forcing kids to wake up too early for their circadian rhythm. Sleep stages. Not all sleep is the same. Sleep stage 1. This is when you are falling asleep. This is the stage between sleep and wakefulness. At this stage, you will see a decrease in heart rate, respiratory rate, muscle tension, and core body temperature. This is when the brain is experiencing low frequency waves. You're awake but very relaxed. A person can be easily awakened at this stage. Stage 2, when the body starts to go into deep relaxation. This is where sleep spindles occur, which is a rapid burst of brain waves that are at a higher frequency. Some researchers suggest that this stage has an important impact on learning and memory. Stage 3 is deep sleep. This is when your heart rate and respiratory rate also decrease. The wave frequency is low and slow. This stage is also referred to as slow wave sleep. During this stage, someone is difficult to rouse. Lastly, REM sleep. REM stands for rapid eye movement. This is where your dreaming occurs. This is when someone has high brain activity but a lack of muscle tone. So, why do kids need sleep? It's been hypothesized that sleep promotes the removal of waste products in cells of the brain. We do know that there are negative consequences for lack of sleep. Not enough sleep can cause an increased risk of illness and infection, as sleep is important for our immune system. Lack of sleep can also worsen symptoms of ADHD, depression, and anxiety, as shown in this CDC study. This is the Children's Mental Health and Data and Statistics Study. All this data was collected between 2021 and 2022. This study specifically focuses on anxiety, depression, and behavioral disorders. This study showed us that 1 in 7 children between the ages of 3 and 17 have a diagnosed mental health disorder, equating to 13% of this population. Why is sleep important for mental health? Sleep impacts how children feel and function throughout the day. When children don't get enough adequate sleep, they can have poor emotional control. This is where being grumpy or easily agitated could result from poor sleep or not enough sleep. When children aren't getting enough sleep, this can also worsen mental health symptoms. As shown in the previous slide, 13% of 3 to 17-year-olds are diagnosed with anxiety, depression, and behavioral disorders. Okay, why is sleep important for learning? Getting sufficient amount of sleep allows children to perform better by improving their ability to learn, memorize, train, recall, and solve problems creatively. At the University of Pennsylvania Medical School, research suggests stage 3 of sleep improves memory, recall, and long-term memory. These researchers also hypothesize that stage 2 and stage 3 help refresh your ability to learn and digest information. How much sleep do children need? I'm not going to read the numbers. This information can vary depending on your source. It's all generally the same. These numbers are based on a 24-hour period, including naps. We do see that younger kids need more sleep, It's also noteworthy that teens need about 8 to 10 hours of sleep, but most studies that I did read averaged that teens between this age range only got 7 hours of sleep at night. Symptoms of not getting enough sleep include difficulty concentrating, low energy, fatigue, irritability, difficulty regulating mood, decreased social skills, increased mental or emotional disorder symptoms, and sleep abnormalities. Lastly, I have a study. In 2022, a sleep study was conducted to see the effects of sleep duration on neurocognitive development in early adolescence. This was an observational study where parents would report results. This study focused on 6 to 12-year-olds with nearly 12,000 volunteers participating. The results indicated that children in the insufficient sleep group had more mental health and behavioral challenges than those who had sufficient sleep. The mental health challenges for the children with the insufficient sleep included poor impulse control, stress, depression, anxiety, and aggressive behaviors. Cognitive challenges for insufficient sleep groups were described as impaired cognitive functions such as decision making, conflict solving, working memory, and learning. The image shown on the screen is done from the study, and it's showing a structural difference between the kids that got sufficient sleep and the kids that got insufficient sleep. Future of sleep, and also my final thoughts. Schools are starting to investigate later start times. This is due to the thought that teens having a later bedtime and their biological clocks don't release the hormones indicating it's time to go to bed. Therefore, having these later start times might align better with their biological clocks. A large amount of information about sleep is hypothesized. Sleep is not completely understood, even though it is recognized as being extremely important. There is a lot of research that shows the importance of sleep for mental and cognitive health. Lastly, diagnosed mental health disorders are increasing in kids, and there is evidence that shows sleep has an impact specifically on these disorders. And then I have my works cited. Thank you for listening to my presentation.